So I said yesterday that I was gonna hit the end, but I feel like it's today. So for chapter 25, I wrote half yesterday, and I had all the intentions of writing all of yesterday. And then we had a major freaking storm, and you know what I did? I shoveled. That's all I felt like I did yesterday. I wrote 2.5 chapters, and then I got to shovel endlessly. Like seriously, it was like up to your knees or up to your hips in some spots, especially where it had drifted because there was a lot of like wind. It was a nightmare. So needless to say, it is the next day. You're seeing this a little bit later anyways, but I had all of the intentions of finishing it yesterday, but now we have moved that goal to today, which really all that means is that I have to write basically the same amount as I would have yesterday, but now today. So what I need to do is just write 26, 27, and the epilogue. And so 25 today went really well. I wrote half yesterday and then I finished up today, and I'm starting to figure out like, maybe this is how other authors do this, but I decided that I needed to just go and make notes where it used to be the outline that I've definitely abandoned at this point, but I'm making notes of stuff that I want to change, but I'm not doing it right now because like I need to just get to the end. I'm making notes in my what used to be outline that's now just a hodgepodge of whatever, but I'm making notes of stuff that I need to go back and fix, or that I feel like I want to take out or add, and like just different ideas that I'm having looking back at it just mentally, not having actually looked at it yet. But I think that's how a lot of authors do it, where you just write down the things that you're like, ooh, I should probably fix that. Have a spot that like that's just part of the editing. Like once you're done, then you're like, okay, let's look at the list. Do I still need to do these? Did I accomplish it in different spots? Or was it just the imposter syndrome talking when in reality you did cover that well? And certain things, like I want to change one of the characters a bit, so I need to adjust that. And like, there's just little things here and there that I'm like, I feel like I need to change it. And even then, there's some stuff that I just, like, analyzing it, I'm like, oh, I could change that, or I could change that, and like, deeply change characters, and I'm like, yeah, no, I need to leave it be. But I am very excited for how it's going, and I've realized, again, I think that's how a lot of authors do it, is you just make notes as you go, and if you try and fix it in the moment, like, it derails you. And I'm hoping that doesn't delay like the editing process too much, because I already feel like I have a lot of editing to do. But again, doing this full time, I actually have the time to do it, and it's, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's so weird, because like I'll look back on how I used to look at when I was first working on this series, back when I was fresh out of high school, when I had wrote the first book, got it published, and was working on the second one, and I was in college. And it's so weird to look at how I looked at like this channel and my writing process then versus now. Because now for me, writing 2 chapters is not a big deal. It is very manageable, and usually that takes up a fraction of my day, and I do other stuff. Like shoveling for hours and hours and hours yesterday, because like you didn't even have space to put the snow somewhere. The piles are getting really big. But typically, if I'm not out there shoveling endless amounts of snow, then I'm usually working on my other channel or Patreon or just different stuff around the house. And like when I first was working on this series, when I was trying to get book 2 written, it felt so incredibly difficult to even get 1 chapter written in a week. And now I'm doing at least 2 a day. And like granted, I did have schooling, but if you replaced schooling with like going and doing my other work that I do, where I'm researching and reading and all of the stuff, and recording and editing for my Witchy channel and my Patreon, like that takes a lot of time too, and probably the same amount of time. And I've extremely limited how much of like social media that I'm on. And I think that me in like 2015, even 2014 when I was trying to write it, like I couldn't have done that. And it's just so weird to get to look back and see how much I was struggling then versus now. Because really now, I am, like, writing 3 chapters a day is sometimes a little bit difficult, but it's also one of those where it's like, I've literally decided to just postpone all of my other work till next week, because I usually try and get ahead. So I'm ahead enough that it's like, you know, it'll be fine. Like, I can get this other stuff done, get this book done, and then I can work on the other stuff, because really It doesn't take too long, and I'm figuring out systems that work, but it's just so weird that it was like so difficult all those years ago when I was working on book 2, let alone thinking of book 3, of like, oh my god, to write a chapter a week, and now I'm sitting here today like, I think I'm gonna hit the end. I think I'm gonna write the 3 chapters. Technically 3.5, because I had to write half of 25 today. So anyways, those are the current thoughts I have as I wrote chapter 25 yesterday and today. I would love to hear how your writing is going in the comments down below. Do you do the same thing where you write out like different things that you need to make sure you add in, or that you want to change or adjust as you're writing instead of actually just doing it while you're trying to write it, just so that you can get to the end? Is that like part of your editing process? I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I post every other day, and until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.